Hello, welcome back to my channel. I thought that since we're halfway through October, I would do a last check-in for the year, check in how my reading goals are going, and it's not going that well, so I think it'll be kind of interesting update. But if you've been following this channel for a little bit, you might know that I had a lot of goals for 2023. Some would say unrealistic. I would say challenging and fun. Well, you take some and you leave some. But I've been having a lot of fun going through all of this and, going through my list of read books and seeing like what fits into these categories and what I have done from my TBRs that I've created for myself earlier in the year. So let's go through all 15 goals because yes, I did go a little bit over the top. We have 2.5 months to go to the year. Will I be able to manage them? Spoiler alert, I will not, but it's okay. Goal number 1 was to read 65 books, and I have done this. That's the main one that I have achieved this year. I think I'm actually currently at 85, but when I did the calculation a couple of days ago, I was at 83 books. So I'm good. And I'm probably heading toward 100 books this year, although I'm trying to slow down my reading for the next few months. So yes, I think this is good. I'm quite pleased. Goal number 2 was to do kind of more mood reading. And that's not really quantifiable, but I think that I've been achieving this. I've been more kind to myself. I've learned to DNF. I mean, what says mood reading more than going with literally like, I don't like this, I will stop. Or I like this, I'll just pick it up right now and read it. Because I've definitely just gone all over the place, but I'm just learning to enjoy and not force myself to read, and I think that goes with mood reading. Goal number 3 was to read a book in Spanish, and I have started. Actually, it's over there. I am reading Platero y Yo, and it's going slowly. I think there's a lot of language that is being used in that book that I am struggling with actually, so maybe that wasn't the best book to start with. In the end, I'll see how it goes. I'll continue and we'll see. In the same vein, goal number 4 was to read 12 books in French. Last year, I accomplished that all good, and I actually read Count of Monte Cristo in French, so really that counted for multiple books. But this year, how am I doing? Not that great. I've read 7 up to now, which means that I am behind, and that means that I have 5 to go. But with 2.5 months, there's I think no way that I'm gonna manage that with the other books that I'm trying to read at the end of the year. So yeah, I can probably squeeze in 1 or 2 more, and then more French book will be for next year. Goal number 5 was to read 6 classics. So I did a classics TBR earlier in the year, and I had 6 titles because I wanted to go more chill than last year when I did 22 classics to read in 2022, and obviously it came nowhere near that. So this year I thought 6. I've read 5 up to now, although I'm kind of accumulating the classics as I am currently doing Victober, but still, as of now, only 5. But from my actual list of 6, I think I've only read 3, I think. I have started the 4th one that I will definitely try to finish this year, so we'll see if I get to 6, but yeah. Goal number 6 was to follow the Women's Prize for Fiction, and I've definitely done that, done and dusted, because I did predictions and reactions and lots of videos, and I actually have one coming that's going to be kind of what I learned to be that invested in a prize. I feel like I've had some lessons, and I will try to post it before the next long list is announced, so I have well into 2024 to do this. In 7, my goal was to read 12 books from my physical bookshelf at home, so 1 a month. It doesn't feel that challenging, but I've just managed. So basically I've just read 12 up to now. I'll probably accumulate again a couple extra toward the end of the year here. Yeah, I think I'm doing well because that's not also counting books that I read when I was home in Canada. So books from my bookshelves over there or from my parents' bookshelf. It's really just from our house here. In number 8, I had to read at least 75%, female non-binary authors. And at the moment, I mean, I've checked it off, but because their percentage, that might go up and down in the next 2 months. But up to now, I have finished this. Because out of 83 books, there were 80 authors, because I, read from the same authors a couple times. And out of 80 authors, 17 were male, which is about 20%, which means that I'm at about 80% female and a non-binary or like marginalized gender. So yeah, I quite like it at that kind of point. Goal number 9 was to read 12 new to me countries, like books from 12 new to me countries. And I had a specific list of countries. And from these, I've managed 7 up to now. So I think that's pretty good. I'm hoping to squeeze in maybe 2 or 3 more, but we'll see with access to books to the library and stuff like that. And also that does include potentially books from other countries that I haven't been counting as new to me countries because they were on my list, or just generally. So at the end of the year, I usually do like a count. I go through all the books and then I look at all the different countries and what's new for me, or like there's obviously lots of repeats, but it's fun to see from how many countries I can read in a year. Goal number 10 was to read at least 40% of BIPOC authors, and I've checked that off, but again, we'll see how the percentage goes along the next 2 months. But I'm currently at 44%. Yes, that's correct. Because out of 80 authors, 35 authors were color. So again, something I'm very pleased with. We are in the home stretch now, only 5 goals to go. So in goal 11, I had to read at least 25%, not at least, I'd like to read around 25% nonfiction in ratio with fiction. And I'm not quite there yet. I think I'm around 15% nonfiction. But nonfiction November is kicking off soon, so it's very exciting. And usually I dedicate most of the month to that, so I'm very, very excited, and I'm sure that that'll push up my average a little bit. In number 12, I had to read more crime fiction, which again, more than what, just more generally than I usually do, but I don't think I have been. I've all but abandoned this one really, and it's because crime fiction is not something that I gravitate towards. So I know like my parents, when I go home, they're always like, oh, I have a murder on the side. They just love to pick that when they need something just, easy to read and stuff like that. That's not the genre that I personally gravitate toward when I need that. So yeah, but I have been reading a lot of, actually quite a few, I feel like in the last few months, of women killing bad men sort of crime fiction. Maybe that's kind of my genre, and there seems to be a lot of that recently. So yeah, maybe. Goal number 13 is to continue my kind of adventure, my journey of reading the women who've won the Nobel Prize for Literature. And basically in January I read 2, and I haven't touched anything since. So yeah, maybe I'll read 1 more this year, but again, it's a very slow journey. In number 14, one of my goals was to clear my NetGalley shelf, which frankly, I'm my own worst enemy, because every time I'm close, like, when you get down to 2 or 3 books, and I'm like, I'm almost there. And I'm like, what is there on NetGalley that might interest me? And then I go and request like 10, and then boom, I'm back to 13 or 20 and whatever. So yeah. So I have read 13 this year, so I think that's pretty good actually. And I have a couple extras that I'm reading right now. But I still have 23 books on my NetGalley shelf. So there's no question, I will not finish that this year. And will I ever get to NetGalley shelf 0? I don't think so, unless I abandon it. But again, I won't get to 0 because they'll be abandoned. But I want to read all 23 of these books, so, I'm working toward it. And finally, the last goal number 15, yes, that's correct, was to read more Indigenous authors. And I have definitely been doing that, but not quite as much as I would have thought. But I have been, I've read from First Nation author from Canada, from Greenland, Hawaii, and stuff like that. So I think, although I'm realizing now that's very North American. But anyway, I just want to read more by these voices and learn more. I feel like all those books were so interesting because they're just so outside of what I usually read potentially, or you learn something more, and I think that's so important. Yeah, I've actually been really enjoying all of these. So a good experience to add to my goals, and to kind of one of my challenges to myself, to get outside of my comfort zone and push myself to do that. So yeah, 15 goals. Yeah, I'm not doing that great. At a glance here, I see 6 checks. 6 out of 15. I mean, that's not terrible, but it was a bit much. And I started planning my goals for 2024, which 2024 what? Anyway, um, and I look forward to sharing that with you actually. Compared to this list, which I clearly went a little bit over the top. So you might find something a bit more kind of chill for the next year ahead. But come back in December for that. Anyway, how are your goals going? Did you even keep track? Do you not care anymore? Are you just happy to read, finish the year cozy? I feel this is a time of the year where we're like, let me go under a blanket and just read whatever I want to read, you know? Let me know in the comments and let me know what you're up to reading right now, or what kind of challenge would be good for you to push yourself outside your comfort zone. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and hey, see you back. Bye.